Some songs sound intense, but this one actually came from something real because Kickstart My Heart by Mötley Crüe was inspired by a moment that nearly ended everything. A moment that involved an overdose and a story that's been told over and over again, but not always the same way. And when you look at what actually happened, it's a lot more complicated than people think. Released in 1989, Mötley Crüe launched their fifth album, Dr. Feelgood, which included the track Kickstart My Heart. When people think about Kickstart My Heart, they think of energy, speed, that adrenaline rush right from the first note. But what most people don't realize is that when it was released in 1989, it wasn't just another rock song. It was inspired by something real, something that almost ended everything. By the mid to late 1980s, Mötley Crüe were at the peak of their fame. They were just a band, they were a lifestyle. Fast cars, non-stop touring, and a reputation for pushing things further than most bands ever would. That image helped build their success, but behind the scenes, it was starting to take a toll. At the center of it all was bassist Nikki Sixx. Behind the fame, things were starting to fall apart. Substance use had gone from occasional to something more serious. And by late 1987, it all reached a breaking point. In December of 1987, Nikki Sixx overdosed. He was reportedly clinically dead for a short time before paramedics were able to revive him. That moment changed everything because it wasn't just another close call. It was a wake-up moment. Kickstart My Heart wasn't just written as a high-energy track. It was inspired by that moment, that feeling of being pulled back from the edge. And when you listen to it with that in mind, it hits differently. It's not just loud, it's intense. After that incident, things started to shift. During the recording of Dr. Feelgood, the band made an effort to get clean, with producer Bob Rock pushing for a more focused and disciplined approach. It marked a major change from how they had worked before, and it paid off. In 1989, Dr. Feelgood was released. It became the band's most successful album, and Kickstart My Heart stood out as one of the most recognizable tracks. Other notable hits on this album included Same Old Situation, and the power ballad Without You. Part of what made the song hit so hard was that it wasn't just another rock anthem. There was something real behind it, a moment that could have ended everything, but didn't. And that kind of energy, that kind of intensity is something people can feel. Over time, Kickstart My Heart became more than just a hit song. It became one of those tracks that represented an entire era. The sound, the attitude, the access of the late 80s. And for the band, it marked a turning point, a moment where things could have gone one way, but ended up going another. When you look back at it now, it's kind of crazy to think about a song this intense, this full of energy, came from something so serious. And maybe that's why it lasted, because underneath all that sound, there's a real story there. A moment that nearly ended everything and somehow turned into one of the most recognizable songs of the era. And the more you think about it, the more it kind of changes how you hear the song. Because it's not just about the speed or adrenaline. It's about that split second where everything could have gone the other way, where the story could have ended completely different. And instead, it became part of the music, something that people still listen to decades later without always realizing what's behind it. And that's kind of what makes songs like this stand out. Not just how they sound, but where they come from. Because sometimes the biggest songs don't come from the best moments. They come from the ones that almost didn't make it at all.